just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. And if you wanna be a chef, then I say cook it up. And if you wanna be the champ, well I say hook it up. Cause I can never tell you what you can't be. Yes I can, see a failure is something you can't be. Plus, I'll get you a shuttle if you feel that you need space. The sky's the limit, get you wings for your birthday. Whatever makes you happy, if you like it, then I love it. Turning nothing into something, I'm all in and I ain't bluffing. I'm who you got when the world ain't got your back, man. I pull over when life puts you in the fast lane. I'm in your corner like Bellini, if you tumble, I'll tell you like him. Rumble, young man, rumble, see. Some women go cause I ain't make them happiest. But who am I to impede on somebody's happiness? I guess I learned a lot by going with the flow of things. You fight the current like salmon, we die and go insane. That's why I stay up in my lane, just be a lyricist. And yes, I'm multifaceted, but not omnipotent. And what I do know is we all gon' have a path to take. And I won't be the one that's standing in somebody's way. There ain't no perfect life or perfect way to get success. But there's a perfect way to take the time to be yourself. And you gon' find it when you find it, ain't no rushing that. Too many you running this rat race, how many gon' just relax? And life ain't just about money, Jesus ain't die rich. Neither did Martin Luther, Gandhi, or Malcolm X. And one say life gon' constantly change, so don't get stuck in one space, you won't be open for things. What's happening, y'all? Fair use, fair use. I'm going to put the interview up from the father first, and then we're going to get into it. So just for people to know what I'm talking about, you're going to see the interview first. So here you go.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They gone. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to...
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
See, that's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or 2 ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss. And there's a, police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
Doesn't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever.
All right, man. So the reason I put this up because people have been making like TikTok videos, Instagram videos, and even in the comment section of like the interview videos, people just been going in on this dude, going in. And he lost 2 kids, just like the mother lost 2 kids. So what I'm looking at is people's bias. And I'm not really trying to throw the mother under the bus. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to point out is some things that happen on a regular basis that people act like, oh, it's not a big deal. But when stuff like this happen, then all of a sudden, y'all want to blame the father for he's this, he's that, he should have known. And the issue is y'all hypocrites. And this is what I mean. I heard the mother's like first interview. She said she called other states and other cities to get help. And the reason why that's important is because and the father was like, no, she just told me to come get him, and he said I was working. So he said she didn't tell me she was homeless. So the issue becomes what a lot of people don't want to address. When you have a situation like this, and it wasn't just the young mother and her kids, it was like her mother or family member. It was a few people, with some adults and some more kids that was in that car. The issue becomes you know, normally a mom don't want to tell a father I'm homeless because that means if dad's so involved, he could take the kids because he's got a home, right? And what happens is people don't normally mothers don't want to do that. So it's these like back and forth games, or you know, these half truths that'll be told. Because from my perspective, you know, if the school doesn't know that they're homeless, the dad might not know that they're homeless. You get what I'm saying? Because she said she was waking the kids up for school. You get what I mean? So the school probably didn't know that they was homeless. Because some of y'all know this, like some of y'all have been some of y'all have been in these situations. Some of y'all have known of these situations where, say, you put a kid in school and you out of district. So you tell a kid, hey, don't tell them, you know, you ain't supposed, like, you know, we got this thing going, don't tell them. And it's the same thing in these type of situations. You could tell a kid, hey, look, we homeless, but don't tell the school because X, Y, and Z. So that's part of the issue, because people just, you know, they come to the mother's aid, which I get, and then they just and then they just kick the father while he's down, which in my opinion is part of the hypocrisy, because now it's all his fault, and it's not his fault. If you call somebody, because I saw a guy talk about what you doing working out. She called him in the morning. Obviously, you know, he was working out in the morning. So if he's at the gym and he got the news, that's not good news to hear. You see what I'm saying? But if you go for a morning workout and that happens, well, you wouldn't expect somebody to turn around and say, well, what you doing working out? And a dude that said it was out of shape. So for me, I was like, that's ridiculous. But now you blame him for that. And then when people say, hey, the mother said, come get him. And when the father says, look, she said, come get him, but I was working. But she didn't say, come get him because I'm homeless. Like, you know, that's two different things, because if she'd have said, come get him because I'm homeless, he'd have probably said, look, I'm going to just take over from here till you get on your feet. I'm going to take over. And you have a lot of people who don't want to hear that this is a normal thing, not how it ended per se, but it's a normal thing. People try to, unfortunately, people want to control these situations, even when it hurts the other kids. Now, the flip side about this that sometimes people don't want to deal with is this. If they got 3 kids together and 2 of them passed away, think about this in a general sense. If he go to court, that don't mean he could get the 3rd one. You see what I'm saying? Because That's how the family court system is set up. It's no guarantee. It's not even. It could be a 50-50. Because now everybody's trying to help her, but the flip side is, who's going to help him? Who's going to help him? Nobody. Now, the other thing, about these situations in this interview that goes on a normal basis, the man said, listen, my family lives like around the corner from where she stayed, basically. And she could have took him over there like always. But here's the thing. And y'all don't want to hear this. Back in the day, we went by the mantra, it takes a village to raise a child, right? So you used to have the mother side, the mother, her parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and all that. And they help with the kids. And then you had the father side, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins that help. What people don't want to take into consideration, we've normalized one side of the family, the mother and her side of the family having access to the kids. We've normalized it so much that, the mother's boyfriend and their family can have access to the kids sometimes before the father can. And that's not a thing that people go, that ain't cool. That's just a normalized thing. So when y'all want to blame this guy, y'all got to understand, some of these guys are put in situations where it's a no-win. It's really a no-win. Because what y'all expecting these guys to do, okay, go to court and fight for your kids. Okay, so he go to court and fight for the kids. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, literally, he's gonna lose. Even if y'all feel like he's the better person, right? That's just how it plays out. You could, if you want to say 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, 80-90% of the time he's gonna lose. Now, what happens after that is what? Mom could do pretty much whatever she wants. You can keep going back to court and filing motions, and you could be dead right. But that could go on for years before the court even thinks about changing their mind. So if you fight and it don't work out, now what? You should just be there. So if you're being there, guess what happens? If somebody doesn't want you to involve, they start pulling away. That's how some of y'all don't realize, your dad, you live in this city, your dad live in that city. You live in this state, your dad live in this state. You live on this side of town, your dad live on that side of town. Or even, some of y'all don't want to deal with the fact that sometimes even if you go into court, if mom feels like the judge is leaning your way, they just move up and go to another district, another county, another city, and then we can reset from there. So, like I said, I'm not trying to throw the mother under the bus. I'm trying to tell y'all the process of how this stuff works. Because when y'all just turn around and just, he a bad guy, I ain't feeling him, bro. What are you doing? Because he's like, he didn't want to hear it because, when they asked him about the police investigation, what happens if, let me say this. Those kids basically passed away in a car in a parking lot at a casino. At some point, there's going to be camera footage of when that car got there. All the people involved, if anybody left, this, that, and the third. Man, Ali, appreciate you. If anybody left, if anybody came back, you get what I'm saying? Because that had happened before, where a young lady went to a casino for she went for some hours, and she left her kid in the car. But I think it was like summer, and the car was hot, so they caught her on camera, going in, kicking it, and coming out. So don't be surprised if you see video footage that might disturb you. And I'm not saying, I'm saying because people have walked away, maybe, or it was so many people in the car, nobody knew. You get what I mean? So people gonna start asking that question, like, dang, it's
7, 8 of y'all in this car and nobody know nothing. It's like it won't add up. I'm not saying to throw the mother under the bus. I'm saying if they start investigating, some of this stuff is not going to add up. But the issue becomes, are you going to get mad at the mom for that? No, you're not, because she was homeless. You get what I'm saying? But y'all talking about, oh, look at him. He's got clean clothes on. He got his hair done. Oh, bad guy. And it's like, no, man. How dare you do that to somebody who's grieving? But see, y'all don't care about him grieving because he's a man. He's a father, so you don't care. You don't care about his loss because it ain't important to you. It don't hit the same. So this is where we start having these issues, because some of the same things that might have got this young lady in this situation, and some of the same things she might have done, are the same things people do who aren't homeless. You get what I'm saying? So, because they're like, okay, he was FaceTiming his kids. Right. So if he's FaceTiming his kids and seeing how they doing, and he don't know that they homeless, it becomes like, he might have asked questions, because some of y'all don't realize, as a parent, sometimes you ask questions, like something's going on or something don't seem right, and you start asking the kids questions. Sometimes the phone mysteriously, but not mysteriously, hangs up. Sometimes it just mysteriously drops, because even in those situations, sometimes mama don't want the dad to know certain information. So if the kid's willing to tell, give me that phone. But I'm sure something crossed, like thinking back, something crossed his mind, like, why they in the car so much? Like, why they always go? Like, what are they doing? Like, what is up with all these? What is up with these situations? Or you could just, you could have a phone schedule, and then if y'all are calling at a certain time, well, by this time we're gonna be over here. We're gonna be at McDonald's, or we're gonna be here or there. We're gonna do something where we post it up somewhere. We're gonna walk in the mall, just whatever, right? So y'all don't take into consideration, what's up, Doc? Y'all not taking into consideration that people do stuff to cover things up. And I'm not just saying to be malicious. Sometimes it's your pride. Sometimes it's like, I do not want somebody to see me like this, and I don't want somebody to see these, to know these kids are like this, so I'm not gonna say the full thing. But y'all are over here, tripping out on this guy, and I'm like, man, y'all got some nerve. And I'm gonna say this, and it's dead serious. Some of y'all are grown right now, and y'all still hiding information from your father because y'all didn't grow up together. And then some of you same people who were in that type of situation are the same type of people commenting and dissing the dude. You get what I'm saying? Because this is no different than, he's saying he don't know. It's no different than a child being touched and the father don't know. You get what I'm saying? Because it's all of these things that get in the way. It's no different. But we don't want to discuss that part, because if we discuss that part, all of a sudden we got to put out on the table that it's hard. It's harder now to raise kids because a lot of people don't want their kids to be in a successful position. They don't want their kids in the best position to win. Sometimes they just want to be in control. And if being in control means I'm going to put my kid in a bad spot, so be it. And sometimes it's a so be it, like, okay, well, I can turn this around. So I'm going to just hold on to this control until I turn this around. And I say that as a person who's been in there where mom's messing up repeatedly. But as long as dad don't know mom messing up, it's all good, right? Because, you had, some of y'all don't have those situations where, your mom's is struggling, but your moms don't want your dad or your dad's family to know. So you holding the secret for a while, and then a year goes by, 2 years goes by, 6 months goes by, and now you can be like, oh, well, back then this was going on, but now we straight. Because like I said earlier, when parents are really involved, if they know that's going on, they go, okay, give them here. It's time to, it's time. I can't have this. And the reason I talk about that is because some of y'all have seen, even when the pandemic happened, because this type of situation is going to continue. It's not the homelessness, people getting fired was going to lead to homelessness. This is not going to be she's not going to be unfortunately, this situation is not going to be a one-off. And I hate to say that. But, y'all don't realize at a certain point, excuse me, sorry about that. I'm still sick, so bear with me. A lot of y'all don't put two and two together. Like if mom get on her feet and dad was like, oh man, I would have came to get you. That's why you was holding that secret. And since you was holding that secret, by the time everything got fixed, it's no way that dad could get you now because everything's cool. Right? But it's the domino effect. If it keeps happening over and over and over again, you learn to hold these secrets. Now, the other thing I was going to add about that is this. The family's doing it too. Like, the grandmother could have said, hey, she homeless. A grown niece and nephew could have said, hey, we homeless. And that's why I said, like, you got to get back to what was going on in the pandemic. Because there was numerous videos during the pandemic where they had young mothers, filming it. And people was even making skits. The mother would come to the house, yo, we ain't got a place to stay. We need to stay here. And the father be like, no, I'll take the kid or the kids, but you got to go. And it's like, well, if I can't stay, we can't stay. It's like, no, you can't stay. The kids can stay. You got people to help you, but nobody's helping you with this kid. So go figure it out with the other people. And people don't want to hear that. Like, it's for some odd reason, it's hard. It's harder now for mothers to let that go. Like, yo, I'm not in the best space. Get the kid. It's hard because, they feel like, I'm not going to get the kid back. Maybe you won't, but more importantly, you don't want to have, sometimes these people don't want to have a situation where the kid's doing better with dad than they're doing with mom. You get what I'm saying? That becomes an issue also. So just the idea of the possibility that if dad takes over, we got an issue. And I've been on both sides of this. And that's why I'm talking about it from this way. I've been in situations where, I had, mom created a problem. I rectified it. And then mom wanted the kid back. You know what I'm saying? Even though mom said he could, we good, stay there. But it's like, oh, since he's doing good, now I want him back. So I've had that where, I can't even find my kid when he's supposed to be back with me. And she didn't disappear, not answering the phone type thing. So I've had that. And I've had it got that behavior progressively got worse. And mom and kid get into it, fight, kid runs away, and then kid gotta stay. And then as kids, the kid's doing better, and mom steps in and, yo, let me, it'll be better over here. And the kid go, okay, I'm gonna run to mom. And then it's like, oh my God. Because ultimately, some people's pride gets in a way that I don't want, if my kid does better with you, what does that say about me as a parent? Sometimes it's not just about money and child support. That's a part of it, but sometimes it's more about the ideology of maybe mothers aren't better parents than fathers. Maybe kids aren't better off. Maybe, fathers are more nurturing than people thought. See, you get what I'm saying? So these situations get worse and worse and worse over time. And that's the other thing. Like, you blame the father in these situations, but y'all don't y'all don't look at all the interviews together. You don't look at her interview first, his interview second, her interview third. Y'all don't listen the whole way. So when you heard her first talk, she didn't say, You know what I'm saying? Oh, I told him everything. Like she it didn't come the way let's just say it could have been edited differently. But that first interview she had, she was calling states and cities and organizations. You know, that's what they made the premise of. And you got to take that into consideration, not as her as a mother, but kind of her as a mother, but also society in itself. Because most fathers who've been in these type of situations know, the resources mothers have is resources to go all the way around the father. You can call an organization, you can call another city, you can call another state, you can call a church program, you can call you know what I'm saying, a even like a shelter or something. You can call all kind of different things instead of just going to dad. So that whole system makes it complicit where, before I go to him with these kids, I can go all of these other different directions. And then, you could feel let down if all of those different entities can't help you. And the crazy part about it is people don't want to hear it, but if all of those different entities can't help, it's for two reasons. They ain't trying to help, or they helping too many people. You get what I'm saying? So some of these, it's kind of like, how when the churches would do like secret Santas and all that other stuff, churches would pay people's bills and all that other stuff. There comes a point where the churches get tired of helping the same person. So and I've seen it where a person will go from here, and then it builds a reputation, and then people get soured on helping people. But at the same time, they'll help a new person, but you didn't came around one too many times. They don't want to help you no more. And then other times, you got these organizations that's just saying they're helping people just to get a check from the government, and they're not really helping nobody. But there's so many people out here that need help, it makes it look like they're busy. So, the father gets blamed for that. And it's like, if you go around this guy, how is he to blame? Now, there's a different aspect of this that needs to be touched on. And it's not for this particular thing, but it needs to be touched on. How often have you seen a father have to call Child Protective Services or the police because they're worried about their kids? You might have heard stories like that before. The issue becomes, how often do the police or the Child Protective Services worker, how often do they protect the mother when they find out the father's calling? It could be bad, but we're not going to write it out that bad. It could be an issue, but we're going to leave it ambiguous, so it's not really an issue. So when I say people are complicit in this, you don't know how many. You remember the video recently when they had the father in the lobby choking the dude that they said he was a Child Protective Services. He's a CPS worker, but he wound up touching the guy's kid, and the guy just walking around like nothing. Well, you got to understand something. When people are in that position, they could, if they twist it, they could kind of do whatever they want, because they could just fudge what they did and fudge the writing and say they've been lied on, because it's a calling them already makes it a dysfunctional situation. So what look more dysfunctional was the father choking that dude on the video. But the truth was, he should have done worse to the guy. He should have done worse to him. But we don't realize all of this excessive covering when kids are in a bad spot for mothers create situations like this. It's the same thing. Like I said, the school might not know that they was homeless. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes schools figure it out. Sometimes schools figure it out because you might smell, you might smell, or you wearing the same clothes over and over again. And not necessarily, sometimes you could just say, I'm poor. Some of y'all, people don't live like that as much now. So say if those kids kept going to school with the same clothes, or the clothes were dirty, but they wasn't the same clothes, people just gonna assume you poor. And this is why I'm saying that. In the last few years, I've increasingly saw a lot of ladies' car with a lot of stuff in it. Clothes, bags, you open the trunk just full of, you're like, what in the, don't you have a closet? You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like they just packed their whole life in their car. I've increasingly saw that more and more and more. And with that being said, you see it on YouTube videos, how people get up, oh, how I'm living in my car, I'm doing it at the gym. So what you're seeing is a lot of more single people doing it. And even some people who are single, they want to travel, they get a car and they just riding around. It's kind of like a second play off the van life. Y'all got to realize people are doing that with kids too, though. You get what I'm saying? Y'all, there are people doing that with kids too. And then people go, well, how come you don't do something to help these people? Y'all don't remember these other videos online of other men getting into it with people, whether it be their significant others or people in the comment section calling them a simp or a sucker because, oh, my baby mama need money to pay her rent. It's like, why are you paying their rent? No. It becomes a, dude, I wouldn't do that if I was you. So when you see a guy who like, look, why didn't you pay her rent? It's like, for one, he didn't know. And for two, oh, he was a fool, quote unquote, if he did it. You get what I'm saying? So he's to blame at the end of the day, regardless. Regardless, he's to blame. But y'all don't want to think about all the things that's going on and all the decisions that are being made when fathers aren't looking. It doesn't matter to you, because it comes off as a lot of people's approach is, yo, if if somebody call you at the last minute and say, come on, you're just supposed to drop everything. It's not like that. It's not like that. If a guy says I'm working, 9 times out of 10, that guy might be on child support. And there's not too many jobs that's going, men and women are different. You can get a pass. And I've been there, you can get a pass if you say something like, yo, my kid got sick, I got to go pick him up. As a mother. As a father, it ain't like that. As a father, the best you can do is let me finish my job fast and get my job done and then go. Because 9 times out of 10, something going to happen to me on this job if this happens a couple of times. They're not going to go, oh, bro, we understand you're a single father out here. You're working. Oh, no, you're going to get fired. That's what's going to happen. They don't have the same amount of respect for your humanity. And I'm not saying like mothers get fired, behind that, but I'm just saying they get a longer leash. It's a shorter leash, and don't let you be on child support and you do that and you wind up losing your job. They're not going to care. Court's not going to go, oh, well, your kid got sick a couple times, you went to get him. Well, well, sir, you're behind. That's all that matters. Your kid feels better now. Well, you should have stayed at work. That's how they're going to approach you. So, it's a catch-22 in these situations. It's a lose-lose. And then, these guys, men aren't clairvoyant, man. We don't know everything that's going on. And, shout out to Edward Anderson. I was talking to him yesterday about this. A lot of y'all don't get that these half-truths are a problem, especially for fathers, because a lot of times you have mothers and their families. They're not going to tell you the whole story. They're just not going to tell you the whole. They're going to tell you enough for you to try to make you move, but not enough to make you take an action. You get what I'm saying? So when the guy says, hey man, she just told me to come get him. She didn't tell me she was homeless. It implies that he got a call, come get these kids. And like, man, listen, what? Like, look, I can't do this right now. I can't get off work and just say, oh, why are you leaving? Oh, because my baby mama called me and said, come get these kids right now. That's not going to go over well. It's not. You got to give somebody like, what's going on? Just come get him. But see, if you play the whole scenario out mentally, you go, oh, it don't come off. It just is come on because I said so. Because there are a lot of people who play games. And I'm not saying the young lady's playing games or not. I don't know. But when the man started the interview saying she called me and I just felt like it was a sick joke, it's like, I know you I know you off the chain sometimes. Or I know you like, I hope you're playing. Because it don't register to him that that's what happened, because it doesn't make sense. And the reason it doesn't make sense is because if he him and a lot of other fathers could tell you, if you say, hey man, you got to take care of him from now, that's different. I need you to take care of the kids. That's a different conversation. That's a okay. That's not it. That's not a wait. That's a what's going on. It's a okay, but what's going on? That's it. And that's why I said these situations are kind of like, when kids get touched or even abused. You don't learn the whole story till after the fact. And this is a bad situation to learn what's going on after the fact. Think about it. If he finds out she's been homeless for 3 months on the news, that means she wasn't telling him. I know y'all can, I told him. He's like, no, you ain't tell me that. You ain't tell me that. And see, let me rewind this a little bit. Some people don't want to hear it, but, and this is messed up to say this, when you have like these situations where one side is making unilateral decisions, one side makes the decisions and then you have to deal with the consequences after the fact. You got to understand that goes for that side of the family too. So when they say, oh, the dad, quote unquote, he a bad guy for how this situation played out. You got to ask the question, if that young lady is homeless with her mom, they got other family members in that city. So instead of calling other family members, you call a different state, you call a different city. You don't call your child's father. And see, here's the interesting thing. I think the young lady has 4 kids with 2 different guys, because that guy has 3 of the kids. That means she didn't call the other kid. You get what I'm saying? The other kid father didn't know that they was homeless either then. It was just that kid lived. And people ain't putting stuff together. Like, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying to throw her under the bus, but I'm saying, come on, like, start piecing this stuff together to stop blaming this guy. Go, okay, you expect these guys to be mind readers. Fathers aren't mind readers. You can't tell a father a piece of a story and he figures out the rest. Like, oh, come get the kids, I'm working. And then finds out, oh, well, I've been homeless for 3 months. That's a whole different ball game, man. That is a whole different ball game. Because that's completely different. That means you're homeless, the kid's homeless, the family, your family's homeless, and your family ain't trying to help you. And now I gotta, get the kids and scramble with my family to figure stuff out. That's a different thing. And that's not somebody that's gonna say, oh, I'm not helping at all. No. It's not that. It's like, okay, cool. And this, I'm gonna add to it, but I'm not gonna put this on that woman. There's some of y'all who know this to be true. Some of these mothers just do whatever they want to do. That's what they want to do things their way. They do whatever they want to do, and they're willing to take the consequences, but they don't necessarily know how severe the consequences gonna be. Because the system is covering for them, so they'll make their own decisions. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it my way. Is their way the best way? No. Is their way good? No. But they're gonna do it anyways. Because who gonna be able to stop them? Who gonna say, oh, that's not good? There isn't a situation where a mom's in a bad spot and somebody goes, all right, get the kids to the dad. immediately. You got to think about it. Like, what is it? A year, 2 years ago? It may have been during the pandemic when a young lady got in Atlanta, outside Atlanta, got killed by like a boyfriend, and the father came to get the kids, and the grandmother took the kids, and he had to fight the grandmother to get the kids. You get what I'm saying? It's that idea. Well, even in these circumstances, you got to fight. So y'all blame these fathers for everything, but y'all don't really think about how this stuff is set up and what guys got to go through in these situations. It doesn't make sense. So for me, it's like, why y'all quote unquote bashing this guy? Seriously, would you want somebody to? Because if you was a mother, you wouldn't want people to. If you was the mother in this situation, you wouldn't want the whole internet going, listen, dog. Nah, I don't believe you. You suspect. You a terrible human being. You're a terrible mother. Da, 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 da. You wouldn't do that. And I've seen this happen where mothers got caught in situations like this, and it didn't happen. I remember a few years back, there was a kid in Indianapolis. Mother in Indianapolis, the kid passed away, and the father was on the news talking about, oh, she's a good mother. And it's like, bruh, I understand y'all had a baby together and she's your baby mama, but the way the situation ended, it doesn't. I know you're trying to say she made a mistake, but that's not a mistake you can come back from. You know what I'm saying? Just because it didn't come off as an accident, if I'm not mistaken. But these situations, like when they ask the guy, the police is going to investigate, what does it, and he's like, it don't matter. As a parent, I know what he's saying. It don't matter. Like, what is that going to do for me? What you think that's going to make me sleep better at night? What you think that's going to make me feel better? Like, even if they saw she did something negligent, then what is that going to do in the long run for him? Nothing. And speaking of negligent, even on YouTube, they had this story of a mother who was a criminal. She got herself locked up. That's how she lost custody, because she got herself locked up. Father had the kid for years because she had been in maybe 3 to 5 years or something like that, 3 to 6 years. She gets out. No, she had been. It might have been 2 or 3 years. She gets out. Father doing this thing. Mama goes to court and gets custody of the kids from the judge, and the father and the kid crying in the parking lot. He trying to, and the dad like, I don't even know how you do that, because America is like that. Can a father go to jail as a felon and come back and get custody? No. I'm sorry to tell you that, but no. But it's that skewed that a mother could do it. So when you in these situations and y'all blaming these guys, look at the whole thing. Don't get triggered because you heard something you didn't like. And go, oh, and just ignore everything that went around it. Be real about it. And go, okay, man, this is messed up, but it can happen. Yeah. Cause see, y'all have this y'all want black men to have this deadbeat dad stereotype so bad, you're willing to look over common sense. Unfortunately, black America men and women, y'all are teen mama so bad, y'all overlook common sense stuff. Common sense, like, oh, mothers never lie to fathers. What? Kids never cover up for their moms. What? The courts don't ever cover up, and CPS doesn't ever come up. It's just it's free reign for everybody, and it's all fair and equal. And if something happened, everybody knows what's going on. No, they don't. You get what I'm saying? They don't. So if you're gonna play this game, if you're gonna play this, these guys are messed up and they deadbeats, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And usually the truth is this. Most of these guys, most of these fathers are not deadbeats. The issue is they're too involved and you don't want them to be involved. That's the issue. You don't want them guys to be involved. So you do all of these suspect things to slowly, to edge them out over here and edge them out over there. And then if it goes bad doing that, then it's blame dad. But while all these moves are being made, it's all good. It's all good. If the kids is failing in school, it's all good. If the kids are acting up, it's all good. It's like, you get what I'm saying? If the kids are not eating properly and growing properly, it's all good. If you're not teaching them life skills, it's all good until they become 18, 19, and then they don't have any direction. Then it's dad. No, it's not dad. No, it's not. And I'm using examples of this type of stuff. Like let's go back. I hate to do that, but y'all remember a few years back when they had the Love and Hip Hop show and they had Lil Scrappy talking to his mom about, living in, let's say, how can I say this? His mama being a pimp and him living in her little brothel and her being, in the streets trapping and pimping and all the things he saw as a child. And it's like, and his mom just sitting there like, it's all good, whatever, and he said, that's why I messed up. And I remember prior to that, because I didn't really watch Love and Hip Hop, I remember a few years prior to that, it might have been a while before that. Early on, they had a video with Scrappy and his dad on Love and Hip Hop, and his dad was a preacher. His dad seemed to be just a cool, straight-laced dude. So his dad was a preacher who seemed pretty chill and pretty cool, and his mom was just wanted to be a gangster. That's pretty much what it was. But after all of this time, I've never heard Scrappy say his dad knew all the stuff that was going on with his mom at first. You get what I'm saying? Or on the flip side, if he knew, it's like, can he get him away from the mother? Not really. Especially in that time period, no. In that time period, no. So dad got to be in a good example. Mom is out of pocket. Because you don't hear Scrappy blaming his dad for his issues. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear that. And I'm going back using Scrappy as an example and using these other things as an example that we've seen in media and social media to give y'all the point that people have been doing whatever they felt like doing with these kids. Didn't matter. Even your Tyler Perry movies, it's the same MO. Everybody didn't know what was going on. You got to think about even the Tyler Perry movie setups. It's not mom and dad. You get what I'm saying? It's mom's side, evil guy. Mom and them guy. You get it? It's not mom and them dad over. It's not like that. So that kind of went into the stereotype. You get what I mean? So because of all of these situations, people are accustomed to blame the dude, blame the dude, blame the dude, blame the dude. And the problem with that is this. Y'all don't know how to actually see who's right and who's wrong. Because if your default setting is blame the father, that means you overlook mom's mistakes. Because even mom's mistakes is blamed on the father. And then when we get into this whole YouTube accountability thing, that's part of the accountability issue. People are only seeing accountability in a male lens. You're responsible. You're responsible for me being irresponsible. You need to be held accountable for me being irresponsible. You need to be held responsible for me lying. You need to be held responsible for me cheating. You need to be held responsible for me scamming. And you see that's a theme that keeps going on. And you see people just constantly building on top of that. And the problem is when you find out somebody, mom's wrong, it's this fake, it's this shock. Like, no, it can't be. It can't be. It can't be. It just can't. Nah, it have to be something. It's like, no, man, just call a spade, man. It wasn't just, and that's the crazy part. It wasn't just her. I think her mom was in the car with her. It's her mom. It was like 7, 8 people in that car. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the whole thing where, then people will go, man, if it's that many people in the car, how come people can't keep each other warm? And then you got to take into consideration. I think one of them was 9 months. And this I got to go here. We live in a country where a woman can have a baby and put it in a box at the fire station and walk away, and the father never even knows that where his baby is. We live in a nation where a mom could have a baby, drive to a different state, and get the baby adopted, and the father has to figure out what's going on. We live in a nation where, mom could do it in her own state and just put the baby up, and and the father finds out after the fact, if he ever finds out. You get what I'm saying? If he ever finds out. So you got to take into consideration, we live in a country where if the mother gives the baby to a stranger, they have more rights than the father. That's where we're at. So when we're in situations like this, even the court system has to look and go, are we part of this problem? And they know they are, but they make money off of it. They don't care because they make money off of this type of stuff. Because under any circumstance, like if you switch the roles and the father had kids, and he was living in his car, right? And I ain't even got to do it that way. You remember Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith? You remember Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith? I don't even know what Jungle Justice. I don't even know what you're talking about. But Pursuit of Happiness, he wound up being homeless, and they was like living in the bathroom at the bus station and all that other stuff. But the mom had ran off. He just told mom, look, you want to run off or whatever. So for a time he was homeless, but he had nobody to turn to. You get what I'm saying? So we've seen it happen before. They've made movies about it. But the issue becomes what? You have he was in a different situation than the young lady where he could have, she could have said, hey, you take him. It just didn't happen that way. It just didn't happen. But using that and saying if the father was in that situation and they said you got a 9-month-old, the automatic thing is get a baby to the mama. That's the automatic. If the mother, where's the mom? She's over there, get a baby to the mama. If the mom's doing bad, get a baby to the grandmama. Either one of them, right? Granddad, either one of them. So the approach is completely different. When it's a mom, it's like, and it's unfortunate I gotta say it this way, because it puts a lot of pressure on mothers. Actually, we treat mothers like the captain of the ship. So if the Titanic going down, she got to go down too. The kids got to go down, and she got to go down too. When it don't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be that way. But I guess with all of these programs and help agencies and all these things in the middle, it enables her, her to just, I might go down with the ship because I got all these people who are capable of helping, who say they're going to help, and all these things that can help that are in the way of the dad helping, Right. Why? That's true too. So when you make a father a villain in this, it's like it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary because he's mad. He's crying, he's grieving, he's hurting, he's mad because in his own way, he basically said, "Man, if you'd have told me that, I'd have had him by now." You know, they simply leave out important. Yeah, that's what I mean. Half truth. It's a half truth. Because and people could say, "Oh man, what if he lying?" I will say this: you put 100 fathers in a room, and you give them that exact same scenario. What percentage of the fathers you gonna go? You think are gonna say something like, "Oh, I knew." I knew that she was really homeless. I just was like, F it. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, even though she didn't tell me she was homeless, but if she was homeless, whatever. That's not how that's gonna go. So, out of 100% of fathers, I give you 3 to 5% that'll really just say F it. So what y'all just trying to, you see one guy on the news and he's automatically that type of guy. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. You got to stop projecting negativity on these guys in these type of situations. Like a person who needs, because y'all look at him the same way y'all look at the dude that actually did something to his kids. You remember the dude with the from Florida with the wicks? If y'all think I came to play around here, that guy who actually tried to kill his kid when his kid was on the stand, like, no, you stabbed me. Y'all treating this father the same way y'all treat him. You get what I'm saying? And ironically, I can't even say that because this dude became a meme / funny little meme of, this was a funny thing he did, but people don't take into consideration what he actually did. So it's messed up like that. Exactly. That's the point. Guy don't know. That's why I said earlier, if the school might not know, what? Whew, dang. But people got to stop, putting these guys in this position to just throw him under the bus. Because people assume like he knew what she was doing, what she was going through. Nah, that's not true, man. That's not true. And the crazy part about it is, I say this: there's a lot of, when I saw the comments, I think there's a lot of, if I looked at because there's a lot of ladies in there in the comment sections, and I would bet money that the majority of the ladies in that comment section might be single mothers. And the majority of those ladies who are single mothers probably had a custody hearing before. And the majority of those ladies probably lied their butt off in court. They, in court, even out of court, they probably, don't tell your daddy this. Don't tell this person this. We're gonna cover this up. So it's one of those situations where I'm looking at the comment section, and now I'm looking at it like, because I've been in a situation as a child where I had to quote unquote keep secrets, and I've learned a bunch of kids when I was a young teenager to when I was in college to I was a grown man who were in similar situations. And then when you get on, you get on YouTube and you watch people's content and this type of stuff comes up, you hear the same type of stories with the men and the women. Some of these secrets are not that big and some of these secrets are extreme. You get what I'm saying? But these cover-ups they can go from not that bad to terrible. But when I see that comment section, I'm like, you probably did something similar with your own kid. That's it. That's a whole nother animal. That's a whole nother animal. Yeah, but guess what? But you know what? I'm glad you said that, Dexter. But here's the thing, and it's messed up. I gotta say this, but just the accusation made people look at Jay-Z funny. But the irony of that situation is what? That means she lied on Diddy too. But we having fun making fun of Diddy and baby oil, and it's like, lying on a brother doesn't, that's part of the issue with this whole thing. If you lie on a black man, nobody cares if it's not true. If you lie on a black man, nobody cares if it's not true. People lie on people. Like, look, I'm 45. I still hear people talking about the OJ trial, and some of them people wasn't even alive, and they don't even they don't even bring up the fact that the arresting, well, Mark Furman was lying. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't matter. It really doesn't factor into, oh, one of the cops was lying. One of the cops became it was a white supremacist who actually lives currently in like a white supremacist camp. You get what I'm saying? So the lie doesn't matter. It just don't matter when it comes to black men. That's the messed up part. So now we got this issue that, okay, so, like it's a lot of people that got lied on. Like, think about it. When Brian Banks got lied on, think about all of the people at that school who knew him and then turned on him. All the coaches and the colleges, they was like, well, whatever. Because the college is different from the high school. Think about all the people after it came out that he got lied on. They was like, oh, really? That's messed up. Think about all the people who knew the girl who seen her lie on other people after Brian Banks was in jail. And they never said, you know what? That might be lying. Didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, lying on a black man don't matter. It just doesn't. So when I see those comment sections, the things that they're saying about this guy, I'm like, I'm not buying it, man. Because y'all just blaming him for stuff that don't make sense. Fathers are people. Fathers aren't gods. Fathers aren't omnipotent. Fathers aren't every place, everywhere, and know everything. You get what I'm saying? And you got to, and that's just a situation as a parent with kids. Your kid could be in the house and you don't know everything because they might be one way in front of you and another way in their room. They on the phone and they somebody completely different. They with their friends and they're at school. They completely different. So these situations where people go, I don't know. You might not know for real. And then, I can put into that, okay, well, man, something was off about that situation. He should have pressed it. He should have pushed and pushed and pushed. Even if he would have pushed that situation, and this is the crazy part about it. Say that man would have figured out what was going on. And he pushed to get them kids. She could have been on a run. See what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, if he found out, oh, she homeless and she not telling me, and I found out, I'm gonna go get these kids. She'd gotten that car, drove off somewhere, and enrolled them kids in a different school. You get what I'm saying? Or if he went to the school, you tell the school, hey, don't let the father pick him up because da 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 da. How many times you fathers have actually had to go to a school and the school didn't let you in because they had already put through smut on your name. So now you're evil, violent, killer look, I'm here to pick up my son, my daughter. Oh, you can't do it, sir. We got to call the police. See, the type of things that have been going on with fathers for years don't come into play in these situations. And people act brand new like that stuff doesn't happen or that stuff, it hasn't been normalized. It's normalized. So y'all want these fathers to move mountains, with a grain of salt of information. it just don't add up. Treat people, yeah, I mean, but unfortunately, you got to understand something. Your parents can say treat people like you want to be treated, but some people are conniving and they treat you conniving. That's where you, even in America, that's where you get that. Oh, you know, why didn't you know I was going to finesse you? Anybody would have done that. Everybody would have done it. Them same type of people had that same treat people like you want to be treated. So they out to scam you when off site. They played the Darwinism survival of the fittest game. Anybody would have sucker punched you. Isn't that normal? No, it's not. But I didn't know you was a sucker punch type person until you sucker punched me. But you running around like you the heavyweight champ. That's because I'm strong and fierce. Like that, it becomes an issue because people's mentalities is off. Yeah. They wasn't isolated. I will say this. You right. The issue with people being isolated is you have too many people nowadays who isolated themselves and it didn't work. So it's one thing where you get exiled and people push you out and you on your own. It's another thing when you constantly making decisions to push everybody away, and now you own your own, and now you got to realize your decision making ain't that good, and now there's nobody to go to because you done pushed everybody away. So now I thought my dog was over here. So now we have those types of situations now where, people aren't getting exiled. People aren't, coming home and just say, get out. I'm done with you. Blah, blah, blah. It's over with. That it's not that anymore. It's I want to do what I want to do. And you bumping heads because you want to do what you want to do. So let me burn this bridge because I want to do what I want to do. Let me cross this line, so because I want to do what I want to do. Let me stab you in the back so you can understand that I want to do what I want to do. And then now you're free to do what you want to do. And now you in a burning house. And now it's like, who am I supposed to call? I can't call a person I pushed away. I can't call a person I stabbed in the back. I can't call a person that I burned the bridge with. What to do? And it's nothing at that point. It's nothing. And in these situations, you might be a person with kids because like the guy said, he said, man, just do what we've always done. What you've always done. Just go around, go to my family house. But if you didn't want to go to the family house, that says something. That says something. And to me, that becomes an issue. Because sometimes that means if you go to the family house, you might have to go to the mother's house. And then the mother might pick up on these things what's going on quickly. And then it'll be an issue because you don't want her to know either. You get what I'm saying? So it's a whole thing, man. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw the mother under the bus. I'm just trying to, express the fact that a lot of y'all blame these fathers for stuff because y'all just don't want to deal in the reality of what actually has been going on for years. Because these little kids passing away is horrible. But the situation that these kids wind up being in is pretty much been normalized in America. There are plenty of kids who have been uprooted and been moved and then disappeared and found again and have been put in abusive situations, whether physically or sexually, have been how can I say this? Have been marginalized. And the father has to find out everything on the back end. That's a normalized thing in America. I'm not saying, fathers, aren't responsible for anything, but I'm saying y'all want fathers to be responsible when they have to react to situations after they find them out, when the situations were being hidden from them from the jump. That's not cool. You get what I'm saying? That's not cool. But that's like you getting scammed by somebody You know what I'm saying? You go to the gas station, you know, and you put your car in there, and somebody use one of those printers, or what, not the printers, those scamming little things, and they scan your card, and you wind up getting all this money taken, and it's like, oh, you didn't know that was gonna happen? No, I didn't know that was gonna happen. What are you talking about? I got scammed. But it's your fault you got scammed. How is it my fault? It's not the scammer's fault. It's not the person who did it. So, when you have to react to something after the fact, it's difficult. It's difficult. Because I can't, like, nobody, I can't fix a problem that I don't know about until after the fact. If I knew about it when it was going on, it's easy to fix. But it's horrible to try to fix after the fact. Man, what's up, fam? They got rid of Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying. So stop throwing these fathers under the bus. Just stop throwing these fathers under the bus. Don't blame them for this type of stuff. Because it ain't cool, man. It's not cool. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if they get Hendon Hooker from the Lions, the backup quarterback, it's about to go left. It's about to go down. But for me, maybe I'm gonna say a little bit extra about this. If people are so upset with these fathers when bad things happen to these kids, how come these same people, when something bad happens to their kid, they don't want to give the kid to the father? You get what I'm saying? You see it? Yeah. But people don't, because using 50 as an example, you remember he was like, he went to see the kid and they was hiding in the house. You get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, so if I come here, you hide in the house. You graduating, but I don't get an invitation, but you want a car. You get what I'm saying? So it becomes, I want to do what I want to do, but I still want you to be an issue. And now, unfortunately, people look at 50 Cent's oldest son like, you're a buster. Because you told the world that you were scared and everybody was beefing, but you didn't tell the world your dad created a sneaker business for you because you like sneakers, but you didn't want to do it. And your mom turned it into a boutique. You didn't tell the world that part. So you didn't tell the world he gave you an opportunity to make money. You just didn't want it. You see what I'm saying? But it's not, because now that he's grown, it don't look like it's his dad's fault and his dad's to blame. Now people are blaming his mom. But that's the same issue with these situations. It takes, the father's gonna get blamed while everything is going on, and then when all the information and evidence comes out after the fact, then people go, oh, so it really wasn't the dad. But here's the problem. What if 5 years go by? What if 10 years go by? What if 15 years go by? What if 20 years go by? You can't get that time back with them kids. You can't fix what was already messed up because you were so busy blaming the father, you was overlooking what was really happening. And now when you find out what was really happening, the damage is already done. And that's a whole nother issue with the community, because a lot of y'all don't want to admit, now y'all want men to fix grown men who weren't damaged by their dads. That's an issue. So it becomes an accountability issue. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I wish y'all the best. I'm gonna put this outro on and I'm gonna get my butt up out of here when I find the outro. So take that as you will. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
It looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
spoken from the lips of the young, of the old, there are men.
Yeah. Put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took the break. Me, I ain't coming back. I got one life to live. If you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me. Plus when I walk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends in Justice League, only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what? We had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you. Coming out, listen. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly. Okay.